For thousands of years, Queen Nefertiti has been remembered as one of the most powerful and mysterious women of ancient Egypt. Her beauty, intelligence, and influence have been celebrated across history, but behind this legendary image lies a truth that has remained hidden for centuries. Even today, historians and scientists continue to debate her real identity, her origins, and her ultimate fate. However, recent DNA evidence has begun to challenge long-held assumptions, revealing a disturbing possibility that history may not have told the full truth about who she really was. The story begins in the ruins of ancient Egypt, where archaeologists first uncovered royal mummies believed to belong to the 18th dynasty. This period was one of the most powerful and controversial in Egyptian history. It was the era of Pharaoh Akhenaten, a ruler who attempted to transform the religious structure of Egypt by introducing the worship of a single god, the Aten. This radical shift disrupted centuries of tradition and created political and social instability within the kingdom. Standing beside him during this turbulent time was Queen Nefertiti, a figure who appeared in ancient artwork as a powerful and almost equal partner to the pharaoh. For decades, scholars believed they had a general understanding of Nefertiti's role. She was considered the great royal wife of Akhenaten and possibly one of the most influential queens in Egyptian history. She appeared in temple carvings, royal reliefs, and ancient inscriptions that showed her participating in religious ceremonies, offering tributes to the gods, and even wearing symbols of authority usually reserved for kings. Some depictions even showed her in a position of power equal to or greater than her husband, which was highly unusual for ancient Egyptian queens. However, despite her prominence in art and inscriptions, one major mystery remained unsolved. There was almost no clear historical record of her early life or family background. Unlike many other royal figures of her time, Nefertiti's origins were never clearly documented. Some historians believed she may have been the daughter of a high-ranking official, while others suggested she might have come from a foreign royal family. But none of these theories could be confirmed with certainty. This uncertainty led researchers to turn to modern science for answers. With the advancement of DNA technology, scientists gained the ability to analyze ancient remains in ways that were previously impossible. Egyptian mummies, preserved for thousands of years in desert tombs, offered a unique opportunity to extract genetic material that could reveal family relationships, ancestry, and even health conditions. Researchers hoped that DNA testing might finally solve the mystery of Nefertiti's identity and her place within the royal family tree. The first major breakthrough came when scientists began analyzing mummies believed to be members of Akhenaten's family. These included Pharaoh Tutankhamun, his relatives, and several unidentified female mummies discovered in royal tombs. By comparing genetic samples, researchers were able to establish family connections that had never been confirmed before. One of the most shocking discoveries was that many members of the royal family were closely related by blood in ways that surprised historians. DNA evidence suggested that incestuous marriages were common within the royal lineage, likely used to preserve royal power and maintain the purity of the dynasty. This finding changed the way researchers understood the structure of the 18th dynasty and raised new questions about the identities of several key figures, including Nefertiti. As more genetic data was analyzed, scientists identified a mysterious female mummy known only as the Younger Lady. This mummy became central to one of the most important discoveries in Egyptian genetics. DNA testing revealed that she was the biological mother of Tutankhamun, one of the most famous pharaohs in history. However, her exact identity remained unknown, and this discovery immediately sparked debate among historians. Some researchers suggested that the Younger Lady could have been closely related to Nefertiti, possibly even her daughter or sister. Others proposed that she might have been a different queen entirely, unrelated to Nefertiti. The lack of clear historical records made it extremely difficult to confirm any theory with full certainty. However, the genetic evidence clearly showed that she was part of the royal bloodline. This discovery created a major shift in how scientists viewed the royal family of Akhenaten. For the first time, DNA evidence was revealing a much more complicated family structure than previously imagined. Instead of clear and well-documented relationships, the royal lineage appeared tangled, with overlapping roles and unclear identities. As research continued, attention returned to Queen Nefertiti herself. Despite her importance in historical records, no confirmed mummy had ever been identified as belonging to her. This absence became one of the greatest mysteries in Egyptology. If she was such a powerful and influential figure, where was her final resting place? And why had her body never been definitively discovered? Some archaeologists suggested that Nefertiti may have been buried in a hidden or undiscovered tomb that has yet to be located. Others believe that her burial site may have been deliberately erased or destroyed during political changes that occurred after Akhenaten's reign. It is well known that after Akhenaten's death, Egypt returned to its traditional religious practices, and many records associated with his rule were removed or altered. This possibility introduced a disturbing idea. If historical records were intentionally changed, then the story of Nefertiti that survived to the present day might not be accurate. Important. Details about her life, her role, and even her identity could have been erased or rewritten by later rulers. Meanwhile, advanced scanning technologies began revealing hidden structures within ancient tombs. Some researchers detected unusual voids behind walls in the Valley of the Kings, leading to speculation that undiscovered chambers might still exist. These hidden spaces raised the possibility that royal mummies, including Nefertiti, could still be waiting to be discovered. However, these findings were not universally accepted. Many experts argued that the data was inconclusive and that natural geological formations could explain the anomalies detected by scanning equipment. The debate between supporters and skeptics continued, with no final agreement reached. Despite the uncertainty, one thing became increasingly clear. The combination of DNA evidence and archaeological research was revealing a much more complex and uncertain picture of ancient Egypt than ever before. The royal family of Akhenaten was not as clearly understood as historians once believed. Instead, it appeared to be filled with missing information, uncertain identities, and unexplained gaps. As scientists continued their investigations, they began to realize that Queen Nefertiti's identity might not be as straightforward as history suggested. The more evidence they uncovered, the more questions emerged. Instead of providing clarity, the DNA findings seemed to deepen the mystery surrounding her. Some researchers even began to suggest that Nefertiti may not have been a single, clearly defined individual in the way history remembers her. Instead, they proposed that her identity might have been merged, altered, or partially lost over time due to political changes, missing records, or incomplete archaeological evidence. While this theory remains controversial, it reflects the growing uncertainty surrounding her historical existence. What makes the situation even more disturbing is the possibility that the traditional image of Queen Nefertiti may be based on incomplete or distorted information. If DNA evidence continues to reveal inconsistencies, then historians may eventually need to reconsider many long-standing assumptions about her life and legacy. At this stage of research, no final conclusion has been reached. The evidence is still developing, and every new discovery adds another layer to the mystery. But one thing is certain. Queen Nefertiti remains one of the most enigmatic figures in human history, and modern science is only beginning to uncover the deeper truth behind her identity. And as new DNA studies continue, researchers believe that even more shocking revelations may still be waiting beneath the sands of Egypt. As genetic research continued to advance, the mystery surrounding Queen Nefertiti became even more unsettling. What once appeared to be a straightforward historical question had now turned into a complex scientific puzzle involving incomplete DNA evidence, missing archaeological records, and conflicting interpretations. Each new discovery seemed to push historians further away from certainty rather than closer to it. The focus of investigation gradually shifted from individual mummies to the entire structure of the royal family during the 18th dynasty. Scientists were no longer only trying to identify Nefertiti herself. Instead, they were attempting to reconstruct an entire genetic map of the royal bloodline. This approach revealed a family structure that was far more complicated than ancient records had suggested. DNA analysis confirmed that members of the royal family were closely related in multiple, overlapping ways. Fathers, mothers, siblings, and children often shared genetic links that made traditional historical classification extremely difficult. In many cases, individuals could belong to more than one relational category at the same time. This complexity created serious challenges for researchers trying to match DNA results with historical names recorded in ancient inscriptions. One of the most important discoveries in this ongoing investigation was the confirmation that Tutankhamun's parents were biologically related as siblings. This finding shocked many historians because it validated long-suspected theories about royal incest practices in ancient Egypt. While such practices were intended to preserve royal lineage and consolidate power, they also created genetic complications that now make modern identification efforts more difficult. As scientists mapped these relationships, the role of Queen Nefertiti became increasingly unclear. Traditional history portrayed her as a central figure in Akhenaten's reign, but DNA evidence did not directly confirm her biological connection to Tutankhamun. Instead, another unidentified female mummy appeared to hold that position. This discovery forced researchers to reconsider long-standing assumptions about her role within the royal family. The so-called younger lady mummy became the center of intense scientific debate. Genetic testing confirmed that she was the biological mother of Tutankhamun, but her identity remained unknown. Some researchers attempted to connect her to known royal figures, including Nefertiti, but no definitive match could be established. The lack of clear identification turned her into one of the most important unsolved mysteries in Egyptian genetics. This uncertainty created a major disruption in historical understanding. If the younger lady was not Nefertiti, then where exactly did Nefertiti fit into the royal lineage? Ancient texts clearly placed her at the center of Akhenaten's reign, but genetic evidence did not clearly align with that position. This contradiction between historical records and scientific data became one of the most controversial aspects of the research.